Nobody puts baby in a corner. Come on.
Number 10. Bronson Pincho. Talk about an 80s scene stealer. Following an appearance in Risky Business, Bronson Pincho would go on to make a splash in 1984's Beverly Hills Cop as Celebs, the eccentric art gallery worker. Demonstrating his versatile acting chops opposite Eddie Murphy, Pincho proved he had a penchant for comedic timing.
Darling, this is covered this up. It's
I'm
like
sorry,
the
I'm
breast
real
of
sorry.
a dog to scrub for the customer. It's not sexy.
Of course, his true rise to fame came with the role of Balki Bartokomous on the sitcom Perfect Strangers. It's here that he charmed audiences with his portrayal of an overly optimistic immigrant from the fictional Mediterranean island of Mypos.
Hello, the Ritz.
A true fan favorite, Pincho would continue acting in later years, but nothing quite matched the impact of his 80s stardom.
Detective Abbott.
Habab? Habab? Habab?
Abbott.
Abbott. Abbott. Abbott. Abbott.
Abbott. Detective Abbott. Abbott.
Number 9. Phoebe Kates. If you grew up in the 80s, you definitely remember Phoebe Kates.
You gotta get used to working the holidays. People are always screaming and yelling.
Heck, she's featured in one of the most rewatched moments in movie history. You know the one. The infamous pool scene in 1982's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And while that role is certainly burned in the brains of 80s teens, Kates also appeared in the darkly comic Gremlins movies, proving she had range beyond her iconic teen comedy role. Her decision to mostly step away from the limelight to focus on family life may have contributed to her often being overlooked, but Phoebe Cates' influence on 80s pop culture is undeniable. Number 8. Shelley Long.
Starting to get scared.
Oh, no.
Something always seems to screw us up. Usually it's you. Sometimes it's me.
Before shows like Friends and The Big Bang Theory, Cheers ruled the airwaves as the biggest sitcom on television, and Shelley Long was a key reason why. As the snooty yet quirky Diane Chambers, Long helped define the show's early seasons alongside Ted Danson's Sam Malone. And while her work on Cheers earned her an Emmy and Golden Globe Awards, Long eventually left the show to pursue a film career. She would go on to showcase her affability in such 80s films as The Money Pit and Troop Beverly Hills. Meanwhile, 90s audiences developed a soft spot for her as the matriarch in the Brady Bunch films.
Cindy, that's Mr. Ditmeyer's business. Remember, nobody likes a snitch.
Number 7. Elizabeth Shue.
So how do you like the valley so far?
Well, it hasn't been dull.
Was Newark dull?
How'd you know I was from Newark?
I asked.
If you needed a charismatic girl-next-door type in the 1980s, Elizabeth Shue was no doubt the go-to actress. For starters, she starred opposite Ralph Macchio in The Karate Kid as Allie, the love interest of both Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. Shue would later steal the show in 1987's Adventures in Babysitting and 1988's Cocktail.
I wanted to come by and thank you for helping out yesterday.
Sorry? How's she doing?
She has a hangover.
She even stepped into the Back to the Future franchise, taking over the role of Jennifer Parker from Claudia Wells. And though she's had a steady career since, including a memorable role in The Boys, many forget just how important Elizabeth Shue was in shaping 80s pop culture.
You look amazing.
Oh, thank you. So do you. God, when was the last time we saw each other?
I think it was senior year.
Number 6. Steve Guttenberg.
Carrie Mahoney. I'm George Martin, okay? We should be pals, George. You're an interesting guy.
Few actors had a streak like Steve Guttenberg did in the 1980s. He was the face of 3 major film franchises: Police Academy, Cocoon, and 3 Men and a Baby. Thanks to Guttenberg's everyman charm and comedic timing, he was one of the most bankable stars of the decade. While his career eventually slowed down in later years, there was a time when he was practically everywhere. In early 2025, the actor proved he was still awesome when he personally helped move vehicles on clogged roads for emergency responders during the LA wildfires.
When there is a crisis and you abandon your car in the middle of the street, leave the key in it so people like myself can move those cars to the side of the road and let fire vehicles and emergency vehicles up there.
Steve would go on to encourage kindness and community support during the dire situation.
Let's try to keep this empathy. Let's try to keep this kindness and this thoughtfulness. This is a time that we've got to band together, that we're not one street or one town or one city. We're one community, and that's where we are.
Number 5, Joan Collins. Joan Collins' Alexis Carrington Colby walked so Heather Locklear's Amanda Woodward could run. On Dynasty, one of the most watched TV shows of the decade, Collins redefined what it meant to be a television villain.
Well, since you haven't come up with anything better, you are fired!
Her catfights with Linda Evans' character Crystal were legendary, as Collins brought an unmatched level of style and attitude to the screen.
I've also noticed that this house is in a very shabby condition these days. Definitely run down, in case no one's had the nerve to tell you.
Making audiences love to hate her, she earned multiple Golden Globe nominations and a win for the role. And while her vixen portrayal paved the way for countless television characters that followed, it also influenced 80s fashion. Yup, many can thank the actress for playing a significant role in popularizing those bold shoulder pads in women's clothing. Number 4, Emilio Estez. You can't talk about 80s celebrities without talking about the Brat Pack. As a core member of the group, Emilio Estez delivered iconic performances throughout the decade in movies like The Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire.
It's like this mindless machine that I can't even relate to anymore. Andrew, you've got to be number 1. I won't tolerate any losers in this family. Your intensity is for shit. Win! Win! Win!
He extended his range far beyond those roles, however, with turns in 1986's Maximum Overdrive and 1988's Young Guns, to name a few. The 90s would also prove fruitful for Estez, including 3 Mighty Ducks films.
Quack! 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 No!
And while often overshadowed by his more famous brother Charlie Sheen, his father Martin Sheen, and former Brat Pack colleagues, Estevez's contributions to 80s cinema proved to be just as significant and wonderfully varied. Speaking of Brat Pack members, number 3, Anthony Michael Hall. John Hughes movies practically defined the 80s, and Anthony Michael Hall was the king of them.
Yeah, but it was only because I didn't want to know I was a virgin, okay?
Hall played the quintessential geek in such John Hughes films as 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, and Weird Science.
Should we give her a brain?
Yeah, we can play chess with her.
Chess? Just give her a brain.
Yep, Anthony made being awkward cool before it was trendy. He later diversified his roles by joining the cast of Saturday Night Live from 1985 to 1986 with his real-life buddy Robert Downey Jr.
Let's say his last book, which was, of course...
Well, here I have to beg to differ with you here because I feel that to which you obviously refer, that simply represents a dramatic synthesis of the...
Hall also broke away from his nerdy image in the 90s with roles in films like Edward Scissorhands and later in life turns in The Dark Knight and Halloween Kills. However, the 80s remain his true golden era. Number 2, Jennifer Grey.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Nobody puts Jennifer Grey in a corner. The actress became an absolute 80s sensation with Dirty Dancing, where she played the role of Baby opposite Patrick Swayze's Johnny. Of course, before that, she shined as Ferris Bueller's snarky sister in 1986's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You're letting him stay home? I can't believe this. If I was bleeding out my eyes, you guys would make me go to school. This is so unfair.
However, while Jennifer was on track to become Hollywood's next big star, her fame declined thanks in part to some controversial cosmetic surgery. Worried that her appearance might limit her opportunities, she underwent rhinoplasty, which altered her look so drastically that it said even close friends struggled to recognize her.
Just who I am, I have no question about it, so I feel pretty good in this skin.
While she never quite reached the A-list, for 80s fans, she remains an icon. Number 1, Rick Morannis. When it comes to overlooked 80s stars who deserve their flowers, Rick Morannis stands at the top.
You know, Mr. Tully, you are a most fortunate individual.
I know.
You have been a participant in the biggest interdimensional cross-rip since the Tunguska blast of 1909.
Felt great.
The Canadian comedian was the comedic glue of Ghostbusters, the ultimate parody master in Spaceballs, and the heart of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Not to mention a plethora of other memorable credits to his name.
It works. The machine works.
Do the kids know?
Well, yeah, the kids know.
Morannis had an unmatched ability for portraying lovable nerds and quirky characters, making him one of the most in-demand comedic talents of the era. Though his success carried into the 90s, he chose to step away from acting to focus on his family after his wife's passing. Despite his absence from Hollywood, his impact on 80s pop culture remains immeasurable.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing, which is what you are about to become.
What celebrity makes you yearn for the 80s? Let the nostalgia flow in the comments below.
Be back in 5 minutes!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.